on the eye, and again, some of the questions on the eye and the ear will be card questions for functions. So you may have a model at the station, you may not. You may just have a card that says question 1 and 2. You have to answer it in one word. You may say, what eye disease involves a tissue forming on the lens? That'd be a cataract. Or what eye disease involves increased interocular pressure, too much fluid in the eyes? That's glaucoma. So that kind of thing. Or what causes inflammation of the sclera in front? That's conjunctivitis. So you'll have those things like that on card questions. But for the eye itself, we'll start with this and do the outside. This is the lacrimal gland. Not an eye tumor like somebody puts, but that's the lacrimal gland. This produces tears. Then on this eye here, the white is the outermost covering. That's the sclera. That's the outermost covering of the eye itself. Then all these red, remember I said you don't have to know those by name, but even on this model, the red ones, those as a group are called extrinsic muscles. So you're just going to call them. I'll say name these structures as a group. It's just extrinsic muscles. Then on the front of the eye, the clear covering on the front of the eye, that's your cornea. And that protects two things. It protects the iris and it protects the pupil. So if you get a corneal abrasion, it means you get a little scratch on the cornea, but a little bug can do that sometimes. But the hole in the eye is the pupil, and that's strictly to let light in. It looks black on our eyes, but the whole function, it's a hole. It's an opening for light to enter. The colored part of the eye is the iris, and the iris's function is to control the size of the pupil. It's not really to make you pretty, eyes pretty. It's part of the choroid coat, the iris, that middle layer, but its job, it's a muscle, is to open and close the pupil so light doesn't hurt our eyes. Now, if we open this up on the inside, and you're going to see a light brownish layer right here, sort of underneath the sclera. That's the choroid coat right here. That's the middle layer of the eyeball is the choroid coat, little brown here. The innermost layer of the eyeball is the retina, and here it's all in orange. This black part, don't worry about. That's to show you that the iris is a muscle, basically what they're trying to say, so don't worry about that. But here's the retina. That's the innermost layer. Now, also on the inside the eye, it's designed this way to show you the cavities too. So this is the lens, and that lens's job is to focus the light on the retina, which is this innermost layer. But this would be your anterior cavity of the eye, right up in front. It's between the cornea and the lens, and this signifies the lens too if it wasn't sitting in there, but there's your lens. This is the anterior cavity right there, that little space. That's about 5% of the eye, and that basically has a fluid in it called aqueous humor. It's real thin fluid. So the back part here, this is to signify this is the posterior cavity of the eye, this whole thing here. Inside the posterior cavity is what we call vitreous humor. It's real thick. And about 95% of your eyeball is right here, and the vitreous humor is back here. So when you get cataract, or when you get glaucoma, the eye is always producing fluids, vitreous and aqueous humors. And as soon as it produces new fluid, some of the old fluid gets reabsorbed into the tissues, so you don't overproduce. But with glaucoma, the eye starts producing too much fluid, and it's not reabsorbed fast enough, and when that happens, it puts a lot of pressure on the retina and the optic nerve. And if you don't catch glaucoma early, it can be permanent blindness real fast. You might lose a lot of your vision. So, but that's what glaucoma is. It's too much intraocular pressure. So when they have your eye exams, they do a little puff test they used to, or now they